Hey there, I hope you're well. Welcome back to Watch Me Code with AI. And if you didn't already, please consider during this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel. Let's get right into this. So, this is what I've given to the AI. I actually have been doing this and aborted an early recording because it really went on for a long time. So, I've tested this. This is what I've asked my ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo to do. And by the way, this website is called po.com. It's really good, has a lot of LLMs. And I need a script written in Bash. And what I want to do is split up a Kubernetes manifest file into separate manifest files. So you're probably already aware, if not. So this is a simple sample app that I got from the vendor Linkerd. It installs a kind of guest book app, but the problem is it installs it into the default namespace, which happens when you don't specify a namespace. And if you don't know already, that's not good. In Kubernetes, every app should really be installed in its own namespace, or at least a custom namespace. It could, for example, be the environment, but quite often it is application's own individual namespace. So this entire single file, multiple resources within it, all separated by this dash dash dash. It's a bunch of services, deployments, and service accounts, and all of them can be namespaced. So at the moment, there's nothing here because it should be under metadata. So let me quit out of this and go back. So I said, split up the file into separate manifests. Separate it in YAML is this ... Use this to split up each file. And each file should start but not end with the separator. And you can name the files 1, 2, 3, etc. And I think I did say here, I didn't say that they were temporary, but as you're going to see, it kind of worked that out anyway. And the first argument for the script is going to be the file, the single file. And then for each split file, use YQ. Now YQ is like JQ, but for YAML. It's for parsing and understanding YAML. And use this to find the top level key called metadata. So it took me a while, but I had to get the language really correct. And you see here, kind, metadata, API version. These are all called top-level keys. This is the official term for it, and not just the leftmost found keys or something like that. The top-level key, and very important to be precise for AI because I had a whole bunch of trouble until I started being very specific like this. Find the top-level key metadata, and under metadata insert a nested. That was very important. A nested key-value pair. Namespace, where that is a second argument for this script. And finally, rejoin all these split files into a single file with the same file name as original, but with this suffix _namespaced. Okay. Now I went through a whole load of trouble before this. Oh my God, I just went crazy. I told it to only look for resources that can be namespaced. So some of them can't be namespaced, but after all the trouble, I've decided, you know what? Let's try not to pack all the features into the first version of the script. We're going to leave that till later. And I even gave this AI before and after what it should look like, and it still couldn't work out this bit about top level key and a nested KV pair. So finally, with this language, I got it to understand. Also, in the beginning, I didn't use YQ, and it tried to do it some other janky way, and then it started using JQ, and I told it use YQ, and it still used JQ and YQ, and man, I was going crazy. And also, you may be wondering, why am I splitting this up into separate manifest files? And the reason is that I'm talking about the separator here to do the split. But before, I didn't tell it to split it up. I just said, look, YAML is separated by these. So go through and do all this. And it just wouldn't do it properly. I try as I might, every single way I tried, it just wouldn't do it. And I knew we're going to have to do something pretty drastic. So I told it to separate these files. I didn't put in here, these are temporary files, but it kind of understood that, as you're going to see. So let's have a look. Here's a bash script that accomplishes steps you outlined. And if there's no arguments, then print a usage sort of screen. And here are the arguments, input file, namespace, and there's even a check to see if YQ is installed, so that's cool. It's always good to have that if you're accessing from Bash any third-party programs. Split the input manifest. It uses this a built-in called csplit, which I believe is on most, if not all, Linux distributions. And then for each of those temp files, so see there, it realized that they were temp files. And something I might do later on is tell it to well, actually, it uses this command here, tmp file. I think that's a command, and I believe that inserts them in /tmp. So that's cool that it did that. So for each of those files, I could be wrong, but anyway, for each of those files, do the YQ and namespace underneath. Where is it? I'm looking here for metadata. Oh yeah, metadata.namespace. Okay. And rejoin all those files, and then remove the temp files. Okay, so it's not using /tmp, but that could be a future something to do. So let's copy this. It also earlier gave me some wild incorrect arguments, which was kind of annoying. Oh yeah, you see here. So look, it says it gave me an error before, unknown flag arg, and it says, oh, this could be due to the version of YQ, even though it was the correct version. There are two, but I was using the correct one, this Mike Farrell one. And it suggested a different command or something. And then I said, that worked great. But there was output to the screen that is unnecessary. It looks like this. And I said, I don't know what they are, but they're unnecessary to see. So it says, those numbers you're seeing are the line numbers used by the csplit command. And to suppress those, you can just redirect to dev null. So that's great. And it gave this. And this finally worked. So let's copy this. I can't remember if I've done this or not, but let's modify the shell script, and this might be the correct one, but I'm just going to do this anyway. And this is a lot more concise than some of the original stuff I was getting way before, which is super annoying. And let's do this. So that's the file and the script, and this is the input file, and the namespace I want to use is going to be books app. And let's have a quick look. So there should be a new one. Yes, there is. If I go to the top, then you can see under metadata namespace. It's actually inserted at the end, which you may have a different preference, but it doesn't really matter, the order. And for me, that's perfectly fine, perfectly readable. So yeah, you can see again, it's done it all at the end. So that's great. Let's quit out of here. Let's do a K for kubectl, that's my alias, apply -f books app. Oops, we want the new one. Namespace.yaml. And there we go. Oh, you know what? There's one thing missing. There's one thing, funnily enough, there's one thing missing. There is a new resource required, which is a namespace resource. So, yeah, this could be a future addition to the script. We could tell it to add a namespace resource and append it to this new file. But for now, I'm just going to do it manually just to show you. So k create ns books app. And then I'm going to replay that last command, and it should work. That's quite funny. That's really quite funny. I didn't expect that. So let's do a k get pods on the books app, and you can see there. Let's get in there. I think isn't it -w? Okay, there we go. You can see them all appearing now. Let me get a full refresh of that. And there we go, everything's running, and it's in that namespace because we specified it. But even if I go all namespaces, then you can see it. So there's that's another app I've got, and that's the system stuff. And there you go, they're now in books app. So this versatile script can be used to convert non-namespace resources to be namespaced. And it has limitations because we're not now trying to cram all the features, so You could have the temp files be in /tmp. You could have it check for the resource type. In our case, it was deployment services service accounts, and they all support namespacing, but you could have the script check to be sure that those resources, those types, definitely support that. So that's another possible improvement that you could do. So there's lots and lots of different things, but as a first iteration, I think this is definitely pretty cool. I like it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and like I said earlier, please give this video a like if you did, and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.